Hi, I'm Vanessa,
I'm Alexi.
And I'm Jacinta.
and you're listening to Strange Colony.
We acknowledge the traditional owners of the country throughout Australia and recognise their continuing connection to the land, waters and culture. We pay our respects to their elders past, present and emerging. Do.
Colin. E.
That's our catchphrase now, isn't it? Colon E.
Colin.
Strange colon E.
Yes.
It's going in a meme, I'm telling you. It's going in a meme.
Yep.
All right. In this episode, we are discussing the case of Cleo Smith.
I do believe I heard about this one.
I think
very
that's
recent.
familiar.
Young Cleo Smith. She's a 4-year-old girl from WA, and she went missing.
Oof. Oof.
Was it aliens?
Yeah. Cannot be ruled out at this stage. There's still court hearings and all sorts pending, so anything's possible.
So where does our timeline begin?
So on the 15th of October 2021, that's how recent this was.
Oh gosh.
Yeah.
Just the other day.
Pretty much.
Yeah, literally. Like that was yesterday,
no,
I swear.
We're in a whole new year now, aren't we? Oh God.
Mm-hmm.
Oh gosh, don't. Just don't.
No.
A whole new year.
No new year. No new year. New Year's can't be
It's
trusted
still
around here.
2016.
Yes. Right, so just last year you say?
Yeah, just last year. So yeah, she lived with her parents, Ellie Smith, and her stepfather, Jake Gideon. She has a younger sister. Leave her be.
Gideon.
Just give her some privacy.
Yeah, exactly right. Back to the timeline. On the 15th of October, she went on, like, they left their home in Carnarvon. You know what? I Googled it all over again just before recording, and I still managed to fudge that one up.
That's why you have an anally retentive wordy person like me around.
Yep.
So they left Carnarvon.
And they arrived at the Blue Holes campsite in McLeod at about 6:30 p.m. It's about 80 kilometres north of their home. So they arrive at the campsite, they set up and start to settle in, have their dinner, all that sort of stuff. For reference, it's a like seaside sort of a place, and it's very, very outback, very rural, like tin shed styles.
Oh.
Yeah.
Oh, fun.
No.
Yeah.
I'd say no to that though. I'm more of a 5-star kind of gal.
Hard pass, indeed.
Yeah.
You don't mind roughing it, do you, Ness?
I used to when my back was younger.
Relatable.
These days I'll only do it for family trips when I get roped into it. So.
I only do it for the people I love now.
Exactly.
Have to really love you to do that these days.
I don't love anybody enough for that.
So after getting settled into the campsite at about, and bedtime routines and all that, at about 8 p.m, Cleo goes to bed in the family tent. And, it's all nice. Everybody's settled in. Everybody's sleeping. It's all fine.
Yep.
At about 1:30 in the morning on the 16th, so the next day, she woke up asking for water and went back to bed. And so her mum knew that she was still there. Everything's fine.
Mm-hmm.
Kids are sleeping. Everybody's happy.
You always do the whip around check, don't you?
Exactly.
Well, yeah, I imagine.
I mean, it's not her first camping trip, but you still, she's a young girl. Young child. You got to keep an eye on her.
Yep.
So later that morning at 6 a.m, the family got up. Young families always up early.
Yep.
And they discovered Cleo and her sleeping bag were missing.
Oh, God.
No,
that'd be a huge red flag.
Absolutely. Like, it's one thing for a child to go missing. It's another thing for their bedding to be missing as well.
Yeah, look, I imagine if it was just like Cleo missing, you could probably initially shrug it off as maybe she's gone to the toilet and then go to where your designated toilet zone would be to check there first. But the second the bedding is gone, ooh,
Yeah.
She's more optimistic than me. I immediately think my kids have been abducted. They never have been, by the way. I'm just paranoid.
So, of course, they're still trying to keep optimistic and they're walking around calling her name, trying to find her, and, all those things that you do.
Yep.
Trying to not make a mountain out of a molehill if it's possibly nothing, not hitting those panic stations straight away.
Can't
yeah, of
relate, but
course.
sure. But so yeah, they're looking around the camp and they're calling out her name and all that jazz.
Yeah, getting people's attention and they can't find her. So at 6:23 a.m., they called the police.
Fair.
All right, how long is that since they realized she was missing?
About 20 minutes, just over 20 minutes.
Okay.
Reasonable.
Yeah. So about 7 minutes after that phone call, a police car was dispatched to the site.
Dang. That's
But
pretty quick.
Because, a child's missing. They've got to get out there. This is actually because of that William Tyrrell case we've already covered. And all of the way that they deal with missing children has changed because of that case. They jumped on it straight away.
Which is at least something good, because after what happened with William, like, obviously there's still no resolve at time of recording. So at least they're taking that in stride with how they approach these things moving forward.
Exactly right. But again, because this campsite is rural, it's remote, it wasn't until 7:10 in the morning that the police car got out there. Because that's just how long it takes.
Yep, that's, I mean, it sucks, but it's fair.
It is what it is with that,
Go
unfortunately.
police, people.
Statements are made to the police and they're doing air, land, and sea search all day.
Damn.
People out in helicopters people on foot looking in the sand dunes, people in the helicopters covering land and ocean in case she went over the dunes and decided to go for a swim by herself for whatever daft reason. Not that she was likely to, but just in case, got to cover all those bases.
Bag, of course.
Yeah. Hey, raft. Just saying. Not sure where to, but
to the bottom of the floor. So how long, did you say they were doing that for?
All day.
All a day. Damn. That's a solid effort.
Yeah. Yeah.
And also terrifying that you get through that much searching and still don't recover anything.
Yeah. And so the police are taking statements from other people at the campsite and, making sure that they've got all their information of any little thing that could point them in any sort of direction. For a long time, people are just thinking she's wandered off. And Ellie, Chloe's mother, she is adamant that she would never just leave the tent.
Yeah.
It's not in her nature. She wouldn't do it, not without rousing one of her parents.
And look, your own kids, so it would have been so much more frustrating for her being like, look, you think my daughter's walked off, my daughter would not do that. Like, I'm telling you, she would not do that.
Yeah. Exactly. And it took them a few days to finally go, all right, given where the zipper was left open on the tent, there's no way she actually unzipped the tent on her own. She couldn't have reached that high.
And that took them a few days to figure out, really?
To fully accept and announce it to the public, yes.
See, I could understand if the mum was like, maybe she just walked away and was insistent on that because, you don't want to believe that someone has taken your child. But these are trained professionals. They should look at that and be like, you have to be at least about 5 feet to reach that zip. This kid is 2 feet. It's just not going to happen. Where's the logic?
Possibly just,
I don't know.
Probably wishful thinking. I mean, they're still doing all the right things of looking at that and also quite possibly just telling mum and dad that to keep them from falling to pieces.
True, but they're not meant to be in the business of hopeful thinking. You're the police. The police, like, honestly, it might just be the way I think here, but if you're in that position, the logic should be expect the worst, fingers crossed for the best.
Well, yeah, hope for the best.
Yeah, but you're meant to stick with the idea of it being the worst case scenario, so that way if it is the worst case scenario, it's not a shock.
They were looking.
Well, then, yeah.
At least they were.
They were still looking.
Without any other evidence, which, I mean, apart from the sleeping bag, I assume there was no other evidence at the time that she had been abducted.
No, there was nothing.
Then they wouldn't be allowed to form conclusions without evidence. Open-minded, but not forming one conclusion or another.
Unless you're Detective Jubilant.
Or Leech.
Well, this case was being treated as a search and rescue and not as an abduction.
Again?
Even up until the 20th, that is the statement that was made by Acting Deputy Commissioner Darrell Gaunt. But later on that day, Inspector Joe Monday, I'm going to butcher some names still, we'll run with it,
Yep.
Said that the zip was open higher. So it was 4 days later, that they were finally saying that the zip was too high, and that's why they're concerned for her safety.
Was this what was released to the media?
Yes.
Is it, and I'm just going out on a limb here, but is it possible that they were giving themselves more time to locate any potential abductors?
It is quite possible.
I imagine they wouldn't really be able to say much because, as you did say, this is still technically ongoing and not completely resolved yet.
Yes. So charges have been made against an accused person, but that's as far as it's gotten in terms of proceedings.
Right, so how did they get to that?
Well, on the 21st of October, an announcement was made that it was an abduction case, no longer search and rescue. So this is the very next day.
Sure, quick backtrack.
And yeah, very quick. It makes you wonder what information came out for them to quickly change that around, or whether it was just a duration of time thing.
It may have been.
So a $1 million reward was offered for information. Which of course brought in all the bounty hunters.
Of course. Any psychics to speak of?
Not that I found out, but there could be if anyone wants to look it up. There's a great podcast actually done by the Western Australian, I think that's what the actual name of the newspaper is. They released a 7-part podcast on it, and they go right in depth with everything. Worth sussing out if you want to. So it was another 4 days before any other information was released to the media and therefore the public. And that was in regards to a car. A person at the campsite, a witness, had stated that they heard a car leaving in the early hours of the morning.
Right.
And you've got to remember, all this was happening during the pandemic as well. So there were strict border restrictions between WA and the rest of the country.
I say it everywhere else.
Oh yeah, they
literally
have not
everywhere
lifted.
else.
They have not lifted those at all at this time.
They don't like the rest of us.
So, due to those strict border conditions, it was unlikely that Cleo had been taken across the border. So they at least knew that they were more than likely only searching within the one state.
Oh wow, the biggest freaking state in the entire country.
That does make it a bit harder.
With the most outback and desert areas, sure. Really narrows it right down.
Still
I'm sorry.
better than
I'm throwing you off every time I make you laugh, aren't I?
A little bit. But also think about it in terms of if they got into South Australia, there was no pandemic. From Adelaide, you can get international flights.
Movement would well, you'd have to get a passport.
True.
End of the day, it still would have been really easy to then traffic her from there in any way that you think of. And even then, if you're thinking of it in the sense of having to get a passport.
Adelaide easy to traffic a kid from? Fuck.
It would be. I mean, as you said, you can get international flights. We are bordering every other state aside from Tasmania because nobody's bordering Tasmania.
What are your hobbies, Lexi?
Also,
Pole dancing.
true crime.
But no, effectively from there...
I like pole dancing too, but it's a different type.
But from there, it would be really, really, really easy, because this is the thing. If you are trafficking children, you're not doing it legally. You're not legally moving these kids around, because that kind of then defeats the purpose of trafficking.
I mean, I would hope not. I'm a bit concerned now about legal avenues for child trafficking.
It would be really hard.
Something to research.
I don't want to even think about that. That's terrifying, because then there's a
foster
whole
system,
other
isn't
world.
it?
Pretty
much.
She went there.
She went there.
But from there, it would be really easy, because as I said, we border every other state. You can get international flights. You can get onto a ship from South Australia. And from there, it would just be as simple as, off you go. Documents that have been made.
It's only an hour to Melbourne from there, and from Melbourne you can get anywhere.
That being said, it would be really easy to just lose a body in the desert in WA.
Yep.
So,
and if you go towards Northern Territory, you would then still have a chance of some of the small crossover with the Crocs.
Hey, now you've just terrified me even more. It sounds really stupid, but I've only ever considered the Salties being in Upper Queensland and Northern Territory. I didn't even think about WA.
Yeah, look, no, you got to be careful of those crocodilians.
Ugh,
they are
shudders.
Big and chompy.
Much shudders.
Even Bob Catter brought it up. Granted, he brought it up while talking about marriage equality, and I don't know why, but he did.
Yeah, but he's crazy.
Jacinta's never leaving the Mount ever again. You've scared her.
Look, stay where you feel safe. That's all I can say.
So there was some suspicions about a Carnarvon man, and that lead came about from the car. They actually were just searching around and by chance pulled him over.
Yeah.
Lucky.
Why is it always luck that does these things, not skill?
Because sheer dumb luck, 5 points to Gryffindor.
Arse is worth more than class.
Are we calling the police force Gryffindor?
Oh, absolutely.
I tend to say it just because of the sheer dumb luck line out of the first movie. But
But a sheer dumb luck. But yes, no, I'm absolutely on board with calling, not necessarily the police force, but the detectives involved in the cases we discuss, Gryffindor.
And from that, dude is questioned, all that sort of stuff. But before all of this happened, I got a little excited about the car. 7 News published photos of a person's of interest. So this happened before the car.
Oh, I think I've heard about this bit.
7 News published photos of a man named Terence Flowers as a man of suspicion.
I did hear about this bit.
Yes. He was actually not the person of interest that the police were looking for. It was photos found from a social media page. I think it was Facebook possibly. The actual person of interest used for social media.
Like, holy fuck.
I think I remember that.
Yeah. And, dude's
basically
like...
accused this guy of kidnapping.
Yeah.
Totally unfair.
That's not, wasn't me.
Yeah, and I hope
Huge
he sues.
bungle. I believe he is.
Good.
I think I saw a TikTok about it.
I hope somebody got fired for that. Like, legit, you ruined a man's life.
Yeah. This is a small-ass town.
Not even. Like, it's the news. It goes global. Like, it's been spread around the world that he's a child abductor. And I can bet you anything that his name being put out there spread way further than it being retracted.
Yep. Add into that as well.
Absolutely.
He then falls into, like, one of the categories of not only is it a man, and men tend to get pinned a lot harder for child abductions than women do, but if I do recall, he was an Aboriginal man as well. So that would have stuck a lot harder due to bias that is still being forcibly scrubbed
is still rampant.
Unfortunately, we are doing our best here, but unfortunately not everybody is.
Yeah, no, it's disgusting, some of the racism here. It is.
And that is part and parcel as to why we also have our acknowledgement of land. We can't do a lot from where we stand, but what we can do, we will.
Absolutely. But
Yeah.
no, that poor dude. Like,
It's very unfair.
when I heard about that, my heart was just like, you've got to be fucking kidding me.
Yeah.
You're as
I've
dumbstruck as
gobsmacked.
I. That was me
Yeah.
when I was discussing the false accusations for the last case. So I completely get it, especially when you're invested into the research, and it's just like you become personally attached to these people who've been wronged.
Exactly.
Oh, absolutely. Yes. And I usually have a lot of things to say, and just to see such an injustice,
I was going to say,
I think I also take it personally because
your
my
own
son's
son.
Aboriginal as well.
Exactly.
Yeah. So I take it personally on his behalf.
Yeah.
So the actual accused is Terence Darrell Kelly, and he is a 36-year-old man from Carnarvon.
What
Doing
an
it to you
Australian
again.
name, though. You can't get more Aussie than that in name. It's really unfortunate that he's, the accused.
Disgusting.
Yeah. We have words.
That's really good
Lots
and really
of
bad
words.
representation of Australia. One hit.
They pull him over. They pull over the car.
Yep. Car got pulled over.
And that, I believe, was on the 2nd of November, possibly. Very late.
Yeah. So how far after
I could be
the fact
wrong.
of this? We were October to November.
Yeah, so we were... Yeah. October 16th is the date she went missing, or they discovered that she'd gone. And so this is the 2nd of November. It is 17 days at this point.
Oh, gosh.
Yeah, 17 days. Like, we're at,
God,
2.5 weeks.
terrifying.
Could you even imagine?
2.5 weeks.
No, I can't. I really can't.
Like, I imagine a planned 2.5 week break from your kids would be nice, but not
when
this.
you're wondering where they are, what's going to happen. Yeah, that's not peaceful. It's not relaxing. It's horrific and horrifying and gut wrenching.
Oh, I can only imagine how hard it would have been for them to even sleep.
I don't think it would much.
Oh, and there's all the people saying, like, of course, everybody throws their opinions out there, and some of the public opinion was that,
weren't they?
Yeah, the parents were involved or did something. Behavioural analysis actually analysed the footage of when they made their statements and said their behaviour is consistent with telling the truth.
Yeah.
So at least that much happened, which was good, but of course people still run their mouths.
As they do. Well, this is the thing. We put forward, at least when we put forward our opinion, it's an opinion. We don't believe it holds any water.
Yeah.
Oh, I run my mouth, but if I'm corrected, I'll
However,
apologize.
if it comes out... Exactly. However, if it does come out as we are right, I'm doing the pointy I was right dance.
Yes, absolutely.
Absolutely. Look, I'm also terrible for speaking without thinking, and I come out so confident, like I know what I'm saying is right, but it's not.
Yeah.
Guilty of it a lot.
Guilty of it.
Just going to throw that out there. After they had pulled that guy over, Terence Darrell Kelly.
Yep.
And questioned him, they raided his house at 12:46 a.m. and found Cleo in one of the rooms.
Yay!
Holy shit.
That would have been a big moment.
Yeah, there's actual body cam footage of the police officer finding her and asking her what her name is, and her saying, "My name is Cleo." It's become a big thing. It was all over the media. Just because she was found alive.
And that never freaking happens.
Yeah.
Especially not after that long.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Holy hell.
The pandemic has been good for this at least, because with those borders being strictly closed...
Was he the type that was going to take her anywhere else anyway? Like, what?
Probably not.
What was the purpose of the kidnapping that we know thus far? I've just seen a picture of a dude playing with Bratz dolls.
Cleo reminded him of one of his dolls. It was like a collection sort of a thing.
Oh.
To have like a little live doll.
That's creepy.
But not as bad as it could be.
True, so long as he wasn't going to harm her and he was just going to treat her as a doll, I guess that's not as bad as it could be.
And he's not attracted to dolls.
Hopefully not.
We hope that, it was G-rated playtime, shall we say?
I've got to ask, based on the little information that we have so far, was this man adept mentally?
He is a bit slow, I believe.
Okay.
So I'm not sure of any diagnosis.
Okay.
Yeah. Not that I'm aware of. Honestly, I did not dig deep.
I mean, taking a look through these, articles that are out at the moment, one part of it literally states, as a snippet, the man accused of abducting Cleo Smith will remain behind bars over Christmas after his case was adjourned for 7 weeks. So that would have been on the 6th of December.
Weeks. Right.
Yeah.
So we're not looking until, soon.
Soon-ish, but not anytime soon.
I'm also glad that dude didn't apply for bail either.
Someone would have killed him.
It really in that case, because again, people are very
mob
protective.
Mentality is a big thing in small country towns.
Oh yeah,
true.
I say that as someone who lives in a country town. I've not personally experienced, but obviously the pandemic has created some tensions about the place, and one person who was found to have breached restrictions and brought it into the town had her car burnt, torched.
Oh wow!
Oh my gosh!
So that's, and I'm in a really large country town as well, not a small country town. So I can only imagine how much worse something like this would be comparative to being the first person back here with COVID.
Yeah, look, being diagnosed with COVID is one thing, but yeah, abducting a small child,
yeah. So yeah,
that's a whole different level.
If she had her car torched, then yeah, I'd assume that if he was released, then he would have been murdered, no doubt.
Very likely, it's much
very
safer.
Severely beaten.
Much safer for him just to stay put, to be perfectly honest, because at least that way there is protective custody.
And clearly safer for, kids.
Yes, especially ones that remind him of dolls.
She is adorable, by the way. Like, anyone
she's
who
a
hasn't
cute
seen,
kid.
well, all kids are cute, but yes, she is an adorable little girl, and I can understand the reference to her looking like a doll, but holy hell.
That does not mean you go abducting the child. Ever.
No, definitely not.
It's sad that needs saying.
Yeah.
Look, it comes down to it. A lot ends up needing to be said because people are interesting.
I wasn't sure how diplomatic you were going to be about that.
Now, in regards to Cleo Smith, what else has anything else come up with it? Has there been
anything noteworthy to add in before we wrap up?
All right, so nothing noteworthy. Like, we've legit been through all my notes. And that is all she wrote. So if you'd like to email us at
strangecolony@gmail.com
or contact us over on Instagram
at Strange Colony Podcast.
Until then, keep it spooky and strange. Bye!
Bye!